think people are about to realize they made a huge mistake. That's because for almost a decade, the LC500 has been hiding in plain sight. A naturally aspirated V8 Grand Tour that looks like a concept car is built like a flagship and somehow survived while almost everything else like it disappeared.
But now Lexus is suddenly killing it. And when we helped our friend purchase this, one of the last available LC500s in the entire world, we realized just how crazy this market has truly gotten.
Allocations are gone, markups are insane, upsales are ridiculous, and they're gone. They are not making the LC500 any longer.
So why is everybody all of a sudden trying to get one of these just now? And I think it's because people are starting to realize what this car is truly going to become once it's gone.
When the LFA was new, it was completely misunderstood. And today, it's one of the most desirable, collectible Japanese cars ever made.
And what about now here in 2026?
It's gonna be electric.
Well, this isn't. Hello and welcome to Performance on Wheels. My name is Austin. My dad Todd and I make all types of different car videos. If you guys are into anything from 700 horsepower street legal go-karts to EcoBoost swapped Fox body Mustangs, be sure to do us a favor and hit subscribe because only 95% of you guys are hitting that subscribe button. Now let's get into the LC500.
Knowing that I had purchased over 100 cars myself, that is a lot of dealership phone calls, a lot of internet searches, and quite frankly, a lot of wasted time figuring out all the gimmicks and tricks out there that anyone trying to sell a car does. It was only natural when a lifelong friend reached out about a year ago, August of 2025, and said, "Can you help me find a car? I'm thinking I want an LC500. So we understood what was important. The color, the deep red with the saddle interior had to be a convertible. We knew what we were after, and within 15 minutes, I had the first dealership in California on the line that had one in stock. Got the salesman on the phone and said, "Yep, it's right here on the show floor." And I thought this was one of the easiest deals I had put together. However, it didn't turn out to be that way. I learned very quickly that they wanted $40,000 over MSRP for that car. And I started to hear the first line of excuses that there are no more available, the allocations are gone, and this is the last one. You're not going to be able to find one. So $40,000 over sticker is a deal. And this is where the journey began. The crazy markups, 30, 40, 50, even $60,000 over MSRP, I heard, and crazy upsales, window tint, ceramic coat, interior. For those few vehicles that were available, $7,000 to tint your windows. They say that's a deal. There were just things that were simply not acceptable for us. The markup we weren't going to pay. The upsale we didn't want to deal with. However, we did get to the point that we were so desperate that we were even talking to some of those dealerships, but they still tried to take advantage of us. The games just continued. We put a deposit on a car and they sold it. They gave the deposit back. We even had a car ready to go. We were ready to book a flight. We filled out the paperwork and the games just kept rolling on and rolling on, from the upsale to the you have to finance the car, to the we need to mark up the car, to the car's not available, to the same dealership calling back a month later after they tried to take advantage of everyone else. The dealership games were insane. So almost a year later, when a local example became available, we didn't have to travel anywhere. It just happened to be here with no markup. It's quite incredible that that's how the story ended, but that is not what a lot of people's experiences have been.
I think this is a really good question to ask because this is essentially an 8-year-old car at this point. It debuted in 2018 after being shown as a concept back in 2012. And since 2018, its initial release, all the way to now in 2026, pretty much the only things that have been changed are some minor updates along the interior. So why has a car that's been out for 8 years now with very minimal changes all of a sudden increased so dramatically in price? Well, let's find out. Before we even talk about the driving experience of the LC500, let's just talk about what it's like to sit in here. Listen to that soundtrack. Oh, sorry, I said we weren't going to talk about driving it. The experience that it is to sit in here is like a 5-star resort. It is crazy that this car goes down a production line and has the build quality that it does. Every part inside of this interior feels so well put together, and it feels like somebody individually installed every single stitch. It is one of Lexus's very good traits that they have across a variety of the different cars in their lineup, but it just makes it feel unique. When you're driving the car normally, it behaves like a standard daily driver. It's so comfortable to drive on a day-to-day basis. But what is so cool about it is we simply flip this dial up to Sport, Sport Plus, do a couple downshifts to listen to that beautiful V8. It sounds incredible. Wow. The shifts almost bang off like the C7 Corvette did. They remind me a lot of the sound that the C7 makes when it shifts, just a gunshot. And it's just beautiful. You can tell that they spent so long crafting the way that exhaust sounds, and the way that it handles as well is like it's so buttery smooth, but it can still take you around corners in just the best fashion that it possibly could. And of course, the entire experience is thanks to a 5-liter 32-valve V8 that's naturally aspirated, makes 471 horsepower and 398 pound-feet of torque at 4,800 RPM with a red line of 7,300. The convertible can do 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds, and it has a top speed of 168 miles an hour.
In true Toyota or Lexus fashion, not updating a car is not out of the question. So it's no surprise that it had the same engine and the same transmission with some few tweaks, and essentially the exact same body throughout the entire lifespan of the car. And it is fantastic, from the looks to the driving experience to the reliability. I mean, every element of this car is just really cool. The fighter jet turbine style taillights, when those things illuminate, is incredible. One of the best silhouettes of a convertible that is out on the market.
I would agree. This is one of the few cars that I would debate enjoying the convertible in more than the coupe.
With that convertible, it's extreme luxury at the same time. It is a 4-layer convertible top, Austin. Like
That's a lot of layers.
There's a lot of layers. You have the top layer, the weatherproof layer, the sound deadening layer, and then the beautiful headliner that you see on the inside.
It does not feel like I'm standing next to an 8-year-old design right now. This is one of the cars that's going to go down in history as being timeless. No question about it. Every body line is perfect on this car. They did such a great job sculpting it to the point where I don't care if you're 50 years down the line, it's going to look like a modern car in every way, shape, and form. From these crazy headlights that they integrated into the grill, the grill that runs from the top all the way to the ground. Like you mentioned, those taillights that kind of started a huge trend in the automotive industry, which was actually
the Dimension.
The Dimension, which I actually have in my Corvette right now, the 3D effect taillight.
Right.
That just started a whole craze with how good of a job they did. And then convertible specific, we have this cool vent down here on the side, right?
You're 100% right. And there's a cool thing about the coupe that I'll mention in a second, but they have that functional vent there for turbulent at speed, as well as a little bit of downforce with the top down. So you can still have all that fun performance that the people in the coupe enjoy. And the fun thing about the coupe is there's a design element that goes over the roof that is supposed to mimic a samurai sword.
Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. But it doesn't matter whether you're talking about the front, the side, or the back. There just isn't a bad looking spot on this car. If I could critique one thing, however, which is it's not Lexus's fault, and it's, in my opinion, a huge thing across a variety of different vehicles. And I think it has a lot to do with regulations, and that is just the offset of the wheels. It drives me nuts. They're sitting like 2.5 inches inside of those fenders. I just want to push them out a little bit. I just want to stance this thing out a little bit. You know what I mean? Just give it a little bit of love. But outside of that, I mean, what a gorgeous exterior. Let's hop on the inside and see how good of a job they did in there.
I can think back to all the times I've sat in an LC500, and every time, regardless of the spec, you're essentially in awe with the quality, the comfort, the design elements, and it's a hard car not to fall in love with in that regard. Regardless of what you touch, there are fine finishes. This isn't just plastic hidden everywhere. Even the little cubby that's down by the bottom of the door is got a little cushion to it. So everything is just quality, the different textures, the flow. It's just such a cool place to be.
I think what really shows a testament to how unique and well designed the LC500's interior is whenever I see one in person and I'm with a friend, I'm with my wife, I'm with someone in my family, I have to walk them over to that car and have them look through the window so they can see the interior.
Yeah.
That's how good the interior of this car is, in my opinion. It's beautiful. The design is so well done, and I can never get over how well of a job that they did with the color change throughout the interior. And I personally think that the color combo on this interior has always been my favorite. The blue and the white. Now, I'm not going to lie. I would be personally a little bit scared to own this interior.
Yeah, you just got to keep her clean.
It's got to be a challenging one to keep clean for sure, especially when you have the top down and that big white area right on the back of the
tonneau
car.
Cover there. Yeah.
Oh man, that thing's going to collect some dirt and dust as you're driving it with the top down. But it is gorgeous in here.
Yeah,
it just feels so special.
There's no detail that is left untouched from the carpet. Like, it feels like a luxurious carpet that you'd put in your house underneath the floor mats, to the headliner in the convertible. It's just, everything is superb. If you look back in time, there's only a handful of cars that have fallen into the category that the LC500 is in. And what I'm talking about is, you could go buy a brand new LC500, and there are some examples that went to bring a trailer, and they sold for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over MSRP right after the bat. For that, bring a trailer. Yeah,
I did something there.
But there's just a handful, and the other cars that have fallen into that category in history are quite remarkable cars.
They are.
The Porsche GT3 RS, the Ford GT, different category.
There's a huge number of cars that fall into that
There's
category.
also there's a couple specifically according to AI. The Ferrari 458, when the naturally aspirated V8 went away.
Those have been skyrocketing.
Yes. Yep. And here's the one that kind of shocked me. I didn't remember this one. When the Hellcat Challenger first came out,
in the manual,
they actually appreciated because the demand was so much higher than the supply.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's true. I remember that. But the question is, long term, right? Is this going to become a future classic car? With them selling so much over sticker right now, with even used ones, the market starting to climb, is it going to become a future classic? That's what the true question is, and that's what I'm wanting to answer here. And of course, that's something that you and I aren't going to be able to truly answer or tell of time. But this car does have everything that a car should have, like recipe-wise, to become a classic in the future, right? Talking about a front-engine V8, likely the last one ever that's going to come from this manufacturer that's put inside of a coupe.
Right.
I don't think that Lexus is going to have another one, considering the next LFA, the most legendary car Lexus has ever made, is going all EV. It tells me that if they're willing to take a nameplate like that and squash it with an EV, that is likely meaning that there's not going to be another V8 or V10 powered Lexus supercar. Meaning this will most likely be the last one ever, which I think if you look back in time, that would tell you that this is going to go down the lines of being a huge appreciating asset over time. But all in all, I don't think this is a car that you should buy to make money. It has the recipe to potentially do it in the future for sure. But I think what is cool about this car is whether you buy one new like this one, whether you buy a used one, this is going to be an incredibly good driving car that looks beautiful everywhere you go. That's going to be bulletproof, reliable. This engine has shown the test of time that they can just rack up miles and they just keep going. And on top of that, no matter what you do going into buying one, you're probably not going to lose any money at all.
Yeah,
They just hold their value.
That's where my head's at. The depreciation, if it occurs, is going to be really slow. So buying one is essentially a smart move. You mentioned the Lexus reliability, and you look into the 8 to 10 years that the LC500 has been out, and there's no major options. There's glitches, there's frustrations, but there's no catastrophic failures. There's nothing like that occurs. There could be some hard shifts or things like that, but everything's just kind of a third world complaint, essentially. So very smart buy, very fantastic car. It's truly a car that everyone should be sad to see leave the market, and that's why the demand is so high.
I am going to be disappointed that one of my favorite manufacturers of all time is no longer going to have a sports car that has the heart of a V8 or a V10 under the hood. I think that hurts the soul a little bit. But I am glad to see that they're going out with a bang. The LC500 is a fantastic car, and I greatly enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today here on the LC500. And if you want to see us make an additional LC500 video in the future, let us know your ideas on what you want to see down in the comments below, and we will see you guys next time.